Hello, Polly.
Hello, Elaine.
How are we doing?
I'm very well, thank you today. Yes, thank you.
So do you want to just give us a little introduction for everybody, just to give a
Sure.
little bit of an overview of you and where you are?
Okay. So I'm Polly Hopkins and I work for a company called Geomatics based in the UK and England. And we are a specialist survey company that concentrates solely on water-based projects. So we carry out survey work for engineers and the UK Environment Agency, all to do with inland water courses for flood mapping purposes. Yeah. And my role in the business is, because we're a small company, is a couple of different things. I do or attempt to do our marketing, and I also look after our bookkeeping and accounts.
Yeah, brilliant introduction. So tell me a little bit about your experience before you came across the Geospatial Marketing Academy. So what was the business doing? How are you targeting and challenging the marketing role?
Okay, well, it was quite a scattergun approach really from us, which did work the majority of the time, but there was never really any real direction there. So what we were very keen on was empowering the people that work for us and using them as our brand ambassadors. And we've done that using Twitter for probably 8 to 10 years now. And that was always successful because it meant that our clients could see that the guys that do carry out the surveys, what they actually do, and it really helped to get the Storm branding out there. So that's really what we were doing prior to me taking on the GMA lessons.
Yeah, definitely. So now you were my beta tester for Geospatial.
I certainly was, yes.
So you've seen it come literally from birth.
Yeah.
So we can't sort of ask you the question, where did you come across it and everything, because I approached you about.
Yeah, you did.
But what was your initial thoughts, fears, aspirations for the course?
I think firstly, my initial fear was, will I have time to do this? Because in a small company, you quite often space plate spinning and trying to do lots of different things. So that was my first real hesitance. And also, would it be more effective to outsource to somebody like yourself to do the marketing, to get it more organized and more on track? But I think once I started it, I scheduled out time to do it on a certain day each week, and I'm trying to remember, but I'm sure that I started in November 2020. So we were sort of in and out of lockdown periods, which was obviously a transitional time for a lot of businesses, including ours. And it actually lent itself quite well to learning, to taking on some kind of study and learning. So that was good for us to block out the time, because I felt that I really needed, the way I learn is quite slowly, so I needed the time to read the lessons, then do the homework, and then go back over the lessons again, because it's quite meaty to start with, isn't it? The first few modules are quite it's learning about the technicalities, really, I think, of marketing and terminology,
especially if that's not been your background and you've
exactly
having to learn the terminology, because we've got a terminology index in there which we keep adding to, so because there's so much fluffy terminology with marketing. And even sometimes I have to look things up and think, okay, what is that? So okay, so what were some of the most important things you hope to learn from the academy?
I think wanted to really get like a schedule put together for the content that we were going to use. Starting, we knew that we needed to educate our prospective clients on what their issues were. We knew that because flooding is a massive issue, and we wanted to reach engineers that needed the data that our guys collect. So we needed to educate those guys on how we do it and why they should come to us. So we knew what we needed to do, but we didn't know how to do it. So I think that's what it sort of empowered us to do, really, from the outset. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, that answers the question. Yeah. So you've already mentioned about time management. Everybody says to me when we have a discovery call, it's the time, Elaine, it's the time.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to others about the time, about learning GMA and the time management side?
I think book out a morning or an afternoon if you can each week, or it doesn't even need to be that. I can't really remember how much time I did it, but I did it. I did book out like perhaps an afternoon each week, or when I learn the best, you know, my time of day, and fitted it around my schedule. I did all of the homework that is set, I refer to it as homework, but all the worksheets, things like that. I did all of those religiously because it really brought home to me what was being fired at me, because there is quite a lot, and it's quite off-putting to start with. You think, oh my goodness, I'm never going to be able to grasp all this, but if I can do it, trust me, anybody can do it. So and then, like I said before, I rewatched the lesson, and then it's right, get it now. So yeah, that's my best advice, is to do the worksheets, because they really are worth doing. Yeah, definitely.
Good feedback anyways, that the worksheets, trying to get it so it's practical and you're doing it.
Yeah,
that's the key, because I'm not I'm usually in doing the workshop in-house, and then I'm there to ask questions there and then.
It is quite hard because some of the worksheets were to get your colleagues involved, and that's quite hard to get them to see the benefit of it. You know, especially when, you know, we don't have a big sales team here or any marketing, so most of my colleagues are operational, so they're all out there as fee earners, and they don't really understand why they need to be involved in this, but of course they do, and that's why we've got them empowered through their Twitter accounts to start with, and it's educating them from when they come into our business that is part of their role. Actually, it's put into their initial couple of days. It's part of their training. Yeah.
Okay, so what did you expect to gain, or some of the things you expected to gain from learning the curriculum?
I wanted to be able to reach out to more, or to new clients, to make our brand stronger in the marketplace, definitely. And I wanted to also be empowering towards my colleagues so that they could do the work for me and create the good content. And then I just bring it all together and put it into various different outputs via social media, via blogs, etc., etc. So that's what I wanted out of it, really, on a personal level for our company.
Yeah, and how are you managing with the extracting the content? And that's another big thing people have.
The odd rocket goes up people's backsides now and again. Which I'm quite good at, but no, they're really supportive actually. In the main, they're really good, because we do very interesting work, and I'm sure that a lot of geospatial companies can say that, because it's true, and without the data that our guys collect, there will be no developments or flood solutions created. So, you know, we can, the hardest part is getting your clients to trust you, that you're going to use their, you know, examples of projects you've done for them, and that you're not going to, you know, a lot of the sites we go on are sensitive, and we obviously have to respect that and can't use those. But if you get your clients to trust you, that when you ask them for permission, then you that's half the battle for me, really. Because they think you're stealing their thunder in a way, but we're not. We're just simply using our knowledge and telling people what our knowledge is and our skill sets are.
Can you give me an example where you've done that with one of your customers?
Yes, I probably could. Not one example, but if we invest quite a lot of our marketing into sort of miniature case studies, and we put those out via LinkedIn, and we put them out via our website as well, and then we tag in our customers on those, and you know, some of them get vast viewings, and I can then track back who's looking at them. And often you look at, say, for instance, LinkedIn, and a lot of survey companies get a lot of interaction from other geospatial surveyors, because they don't have a forum out there to discuss ideas and things like that, which is amazing and great, but that's not what we're trying to achieve with this. We're trying to get the interest from clients. So I would say there's no exact example, but they're all working, and we are asking people why they're coming to us and how they found out about us. And quite often it's through the posts that we've either put on social media or the blog post that we send out, and building up our emailing list as well has helped with that.
Yeah. Does that help with the trust as well? Seeing, you know, if your new customers are coming on, say, LinkedIn, seeing the case studies, and then is that a lot easier then for when you're like, you get the job and then you ask them for a reference? They're like, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I think so, probably to an extent. You have to pick and choose the right customers to ask, and often it's a relationship that's been built up over a number of projects, really. But yes, and then they know that we're not out to fleece their good name. What we're simply trying to do is promote the skills we've got here within our business. So and that's helped.
Okay, that's great. So can you explain how you manage the lessons, the curriculum?
How did I manage the
I suppose you briefly mentioned it. You did the lesson, you did the homework, then you went back to the lesson, I suppose.
Yeah, I think I worked through each model in that curriculum order, because it's in that order for a reason, and obviously each one follows on. What else would you like to know, really? I don't think there's any more to say from my point of view.
I think what's been interesting, I suppose, just from you starting out to review it at the beginning, it's made me think, like, I've moved the sales lesson now. So when we relaunch for 2.0, I'm going to move sales to the beginning, and I've done that in the intro video now. So the new people that have actually joined, they've gone straight from foundations straight into setting up a landing page, so they have that flow.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think so, because landing pages are really valuable. We've used them for a number of things, for webinars and collecting information for mailing lists and things like that. We use them as a call to action now, which we didn't have before, because we didn't really, well, I knew what they were, obviously, but I didn't think we had the capability to do one. I'm just lucky that I've got an amazing lady here that works for us, who's our computer engineer, and she does all that sort of thing for me. So but it doesn't mean you need to employ somebody. She has another role within the business, but it is valuable to have things such as landing pages and collecting data and being able to look at it back at it and track back and see where things are working and where they're not.
Yeah, definitely. So what did you think of the lessons, how they were delivered, what the content was about?
I think the lessons are delivered really well. Some quite beefy and quite meaty, and I know we've had that conversation before, haven't we, about the content marketing, and there was, I think you've now broken that down slightly from when I first looked at them. So I think the lessons are delivered at a good pace, and there is good pauses in there. And one tip is, don't skim over when you're told to stop and do the worksheet. Do it at that point. Don't, because I was always one to think, no, I don't need to do that, I'll just go back and do it when and then never going back and doing it. But it's really, I think, valuable to do that. But then I learn everybody learns in a different way, don't they? So, but yeah, that's
was there any particular lesson that you liked best?
I don't think there was one clear one, really. I think they were all really good. I mean, obviously, I felt that the content marketing really inspired me, definitely, both sides of the journey, the customer and the buyer journey, and it helped me. And I've shared some of that with my colleagues as well, and they've used it to implement different sort of content that we've done. But there's nothing nothing that really stands out, because I don't feel it should be like that. I feel everything should be relevant, and it is all relevant. So yeah.
Okay. How did they change the way that you did things previously?
Well, like I said at the start of the conversation, you know, it was much more a scattergun approach. It was very, very sort of reactive sometimes, but we're still reactive. So now what we do is, say there's an issue that is highlighted by us doing some reading within the subject matter, and one of us might say, you know what, there's a big issue at the moment with such and such, let's run with that. So I know you've done that with your recent webinar you did on the recruitment. So I said to our guys back in probably February, look, you know, there is an issue with recruitment at the moment. I think we need to really we need to treat these recruitees as customers, and let them see that what journey they're going to have with us, and we're actually in the process of doing that. And that one of my colleagues he's come up with the idea of, we're going to set out a career path, and that's going on our website.
Right.
You know, so I feel, you know, I'm just using recruitment as an example because it's topical at the moment, but we do this with most things now. We seek out a problem that seems to be relevant in press and things, and think, does that apply to us? Can we market anything out of this, that our services we provide? So we've got a facility now to test phosphate levels in rivers, which we do as a free service, because there is a real concern about what is going into the UK's rivers, and they need cleaning up. So, you know, it's given more, we've learned that we need to identify the buyer personas and stick to what their problems are by reading up, and then answering those problems, if we can. We obviously seek out the ones that are relevant to the services that we can provide here at Storm.
Yeah, definitely. A lot more systematic sounds.
Yes, that's right. And there is, yes, it is, and more organised.
Yeah, that's good. So what would you say was your biggest aha moment?
I think right at the beginning, identifying the client, the buyer personas and the influencers, and looking at those influencers and how to reach them. That's, for me personally, was the biggest aha moment, because that's where it all stems from for me. Yeah,
it's amazing how many people pass that. They leave it, and then
why would you?
Yeah, it's amazing though. It's amazing to think, because that's your foundation. You get
absolutely
right. So much easier the rest of it.
That was the biggest aha moment for me.
Yeah, great. What were some of your first results that you saw?
So the way that survey work, our nature of survey work is has changed in probably the last 2 years, and that there's more framework agreements in place. They were there previously, but so our end client is usually, in the main, the Environment Agency within the UK. And they were doing a lot of the procuring of the work, and we were in tender agreement, tendering for that work directly with them. But what's happened is there's more anonymity autonomy for the engineers to go out and find and procure the surveyors, which has meant that we've got in front of more, on a national basis, more engineers, and consequently that has meant that we've got on into more areas of the Environment Agency, or regions, sorry, not areas of the Environment Agency. So the results have been that we've got, you know, more clients, because we've made sure that our brand is out there all the time, and we're being much more consistent in the content that we produce and the regularity of it. And that helps with all the algorithms and things like that as well, doesn't it, on social media, and backing that up with blog posts and etc., and sending case studies to people.
Yeah. And have you got any results that you can put to that?
I haven't got figures or statistics because no, I haven't, but I can tell you that we've taken on a lot of new clients, probably in the last, I would say in the last 18 months, we have increased our client base by 50%.
Oh, yeah.
Which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And we're now booking work. I mean, it's a very busy, buoyant period in our area of survey, and we're booking work. We've got a 12 to 14 week lead-in period time now, which is great. And that is a combination of the marketing. It's a combination of outside. What's the word I'm looking for? Outside influences and things like that as well. But it is definitely assisted by us being more organised with our marketing content.
Yeah, definitely. And what sort of value are these clients coming in at?
Well, individual projects can range from sort of £2,000 up to £150,000, but it's not really the value the value is in the quality of the client that you get, whether they pay on time, whether they appreciate and work with you and looking and appreciate the the innovative way that we work, are interested in our ethos as a company. That's where the value is for us, because we're building relationships and they trust us.
So have you picked up customers that you've gone, oh, this is good, like somebody that you've not expected to get, or you really want to get?
Yes, we have. Yes, we have done that. I think our reputation has got better, and that's not just from the marketing, that's from us producing good quality service, and our data is good. We're proud to put that out there, and we can put that out there because we know it's true. So we do that. And we've always said we're a niche company, and that we that is purely how we will always be. To the extent where we've had to write and sell and it's now available commercially, but we have our own software that we've written because there was nothing on the market fit for purpose. So, and I think we learned, that was brought home to me in some of the lessons that I through the GMA, that if you concentrate and don't scatter yourselves too thinly with buyer personas, then you'll do better. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so can you relate any of the results that, I mean, you've briefly touched on this anyways, but specifically to any campaign that you've done or any content pieces that you've done? Yes, the software that I talked about, which is quite specialist and is purely for river channel processing software, which is what surveyors can buy it, and then it's a seamless into the data that is sent to the engineers, so engineers can use it too. And the campaign that we've done has been has been purely done around what I've learned from GMA. So we've run webinars, we do regular posts, we do educational blogs, all that sort of thing, and that we finally we're getting an upturn in sales for that, and it's taken a while, and going out prospecting and hunting, and I don't do that, my colleague does that, but that again has been learned from the sales funnel. Would it be the sales funnel module? Yeah.
It's like a little bit talked about prospecting and farming. So
yes,
developing how you're going to target different customers. Yes,
and so that's working. It takes time, and what do you call it, the life cycle of when you start to, or they come to you and looking at your services. And then, at GeoBusiness, I was approached and when just in conversation with somebody, and he said I was looking for some software to give to our engineers for river channel processing, and every single time I went on to Google, your software came up. was like, yes, we're using the right keywords now, you know, and that was so lovely to hear. And I know that that's been a real team effort, but it has come fundamentally from what I've learned through these lessons, definitely.
I think as well, you stuck with it, and it's time. People think it's a magic wand and it'll happen straight away.
Goodness, there's been times where I've just wanted to, well, we all have, like, what are we doing? But you know, we keep going. Yeah,
that's good. Would you say you have more of a direction now?
Yes, definitely, and a plan, and more confidence to really think outside the box. So in a meeting we have a marketing meeting, a management meeting every week, and every week I say to, right, what's relevant now? When the tenders come in, what are they looking for? What are you selling to them? You know, and then so one of our guys who's our tender manager, he'll come back and say, well, I've really pushed this service that we do this time because, you know, this is what they're looking for. Right, can I take anything from that? Can I make some content from that? You know, and I've got the confidence to do that. And then what you do is you get your idea, and then you go back and you look at your notes and you think, right, I need to apply that, this bit, you know, can this be a blog? And if it's going to be a blog, where is it going to go? What direction is it going to go? And what are we going to have out of it? And what do we want to achieve at the end of it? Do we want them to ring us? Do we want them to come to a webinar, listen to a webinar, you know? Yeah, so yes.
Plan.
Yeah, definitely.
That's good. It's good to hear. It's good to hear these guys are all getting on it together. That's great. Okay, so what's one thing you'd share with others who are currently where you were before?
I would share, make sure that you do module 1, which is the marketing foundations model, and you learn all about your business objectives, your marketing objectives. Well, actually, you've got them. If you're running a business, you've got them because you know why you're here and what you're striving, what your North Star is, if you like. You just need to align those with your marketing objectives and actually think about how you're going to achieve your business objectives. So that's my first tip, really, is to do that, is to get the marketing basics in your brain and keep going over it until you've got them.
That's a great quote, marketing basics in your brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a good one. So can you give me some examples of how and what GMA has helped you achieve in your business?
It's helped us achieve a much stronger brand in that. And when I say brand, I don't mean it visually. I'm talking about, you know, Storm Geomatics, they're the go-to people. You want a river survey done, that's where we go. And we know that you know, and we've got respected people now within the hydrographic engineering profession who say that, you know, well, we've been recommended by so-and-so to come to you. And why, and in fact, we had a new client who had a quote from us. We submitted a tender, and they came back and they said to my colleague Toby, why are you so much more expensive than Joe Blogs? And he said, well, this is the reason. Our guys are all trained, water safety trained, they never work alone, etc., etc., etc. This is the methodology that we're going to apply to this particular project. And he went away and he was like, have we won it? Have we lost it? Didn't hear anything. And yeah, we won it. We got it.
Yeah,
because we stuck to our principles. We stuck to those business objectives, you know. So yeah. You don't win them all. We don't win them all because a lot is price-based, but we have the confidence now that you know, to push our message via our marketing.
But it's going back to your buyer persona. So then buyer persona, who you're after is the quality people who want safety, trustworthy company. They don't want just cheaper price.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
definitely. So do you have a better understanding on what works in your business now through the lessons in GMA?
Yes. I do, and I know that we need to interact and connect with the clients on a you know, I've said this probably 2 or 3 times in this conversation, but yes. And also to make sure that we expose out to new, you know, prospective people, and that's done usually through doing the direct messaging and the hunting, you know, going out and hunting and prospecting for them. So yes, we do know what works and what doesn't work, and there have been mistakes made that we won't go back to, because we know it's not going to work for us. So
yeah, definitely. Okay, so what do you think of the school community?
I think it's good. I think it's supportive, and it's definitely something that, you know, new people coming into GMA should read. I think people are frightened to sometimes post on there because they think they might be saying something that's a bit silly, but actually none of us are trained in marketing. That's probably why we're members of the GMA, so you don't need to worry, really, I think. Because I remember I probably came back with some really stupid questions before you'd even got school up and running, and then you sort of said, oh, can you put it on the school? And I'm like, well, I'm a bit nervous about doing that because I don't want to look like a right Wally. But no, it's good. Probably you're talking to the wrong person about that, because I'm British, and British people are much more reserved and that sort of thing, aren't they? So, but no, it's good, and you can always learn.
Yeah, I think as well, it's getting the school community is building now, it's growing, or GMA is growing with members, so it's getting them to relax, because some people still send me the direct message, like, please,
yes,
put it on school, please put it on school. And it's right, it's a fear. But we're trying to make it it's a safe area for people, and that's the key thing, is to keep that safe little space to ask those questions, because no question's stupid. No questions.
No, exactly. Yeah. So no, it's a good positive thing.
Yeah. What would you say, how much would you say GMA is worth to you to your business?
Do you mean monetary wise? What, could you just expand on the question, really?
It could be monetary wise. Yeah, monetary wise, worth to you, like what is the impact it's had on you? So yeah, you could probably put monetary value to it.
I would say that, you know, like I said, we've got 50%, our client base has increased by 50%. So our turnover has increased significantly. And you can't really put a price on that. And also, I would say that it's worth, in a monetary, I would say it's certainly worth to us probably £5,000 a year to do.
Yeah.
Definitely. That question.
Yeah. Okay. And would you recommend this to other surveyors and equipment manufacturers?
Of course I would. Absolutely. Yes. Of course. Stupid question again.
It's all right. I can ask stupid questions. And what advice would you say to someone looking for help with their marketing?
I would say that I had somebody ring me a few months ago and asked me that question. And I said, look, what GMA does is it empowers you to do the marketing yourself. And I think that's really important. And then empower your people to do the marketing as well for you. Don't hide them away. Don't hide your people away. That's just, you know, and if they can take on board what you're learning, then all the better, because that's what GMA can do. It can empower you. And if you can take the time to learn it and get your colleagues on side to support you, then it's a no-brainer, in my opinion, to do it. So yeah. And I think that if you're a small business, make it a team effort, because we've all got lots of different roles within the business if we're small, and that will sort of offset some of the responsibility and some of the time as well. And then you make a better effort at it, because you always put it to the back of the queue, because there's usually firefighting to do and things like that. But actually it's really, really important to do the marketing, definitely.
Well, that's the arm that's going to bring in customers.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
So
exactly.
Yeah, I think as well, I think marketing stems back from the old days when it was just advertising, you know, and PR. And I think, you know, especially our profession and the industry as in geospatial as a whole, I think is still quite behind from that perspective.
Yeah.
Compared to like the marketing industry itself is so forward in it's all looking at AI now and stuff like that. And it's like completely different. You know,
if you post something, say on social media, and the more technical it is, the better. But I would say, and people say, oh well, you know, got 150 likes on that particular post. but who is it that's liking them? Are they fellow surveyors? Which is great, you know, like I said, let's empower everybody, let's build this community and have discussions. I think that's really amazing, but really drill down into how you're getting to your clients. So the whole mindset needs to change in that respect, doesn't it? Yeah. So
brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Polly. I really appreciate your feedback.
That's my pleasure. My pleasure.
That's grand.